Hello everyone, this is Hairy Nick.
And this is a less hairy Justin.
Welcome back to the Hangar Bay, our weekly show where we talk about your submitted X-Wing lists. Back over to the Separatists this week.
Yes, and this week we are talking about the Vulture class droid fighter.
Which we'll just call Vultures from now on because that's too much to say. And before we talk about these, I think a couple of quick PSAs. We had an update in the points recently, so the official app updated everything and did all that. And Vulture Droids actually went down by a few points here and there, but most notably a point less on the Trade Federation drone, bringing it down to 19 points. And on the official app, for some reason, you are able to make lists with 9 or 10 pilots on it, which is not actually tournament legal.
No, you're only allowed to have 8.
And I thought I'd mention this in this video because this is the only platform where you can do that. There are a few other platforms under 20 points, but none that are non-unique like the Trade Federation drone. Yeah. Also, a quick note as well. Yes, in this last point change, I'm hearing some words that people have lost their lists again when things updated. And I just want to say again, guys, just use yet another Squad Build 2.0 or Launch Bay Next, either one of those. Apart from anything else, they'll also warn you when you have too many ships on your list. At this point in time, I don't realistically see a good reason to use the official app. Sorry, FFG, there just isn't one reason there to do that.
We're going to also talk about the fact that next week we are having the Rebels.
Oh, yes, of course. So in these videos, we're doing a big faction, small faction, big faction, small faction. Next week, we have a big faction, and the only one left is going to be Rebels. If you're interested in keeping up to date with what that's going to be, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and check the community tab. I always make an announcement a few days before we record the video, so you have a chance to put in any last-minute lists, which is important now because we have a new point structure, so a lot of the lists that we have submitted are no longer relevant. Sorry to those who have submitted lists before a few weeks ago. That's just the reality we live with now in X-Wing.
Well, especially Leia going up a couple of points. Everyone was flying Leia.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Leia is still very good, by the way. Do not discredit her. I mean, depending on what we do, there's a good chance we'll still talk about Leia in at least one of these lists. So, yes, stay tuned for that. And start submitting. We need more and more lists to talk about. But for the time being, let's have a quick chat about the Vultures.
Now, the Vulture droid is a ship with 2 red dice for attack, 2 green dice for defense, and 3 hull.
Yes, a terrible stat line.
Yeah.
But it's also very cheap.
Well, it's twice worth 19 points.
Absolutely. Our cheapest one is 19 points. Our most expensive Vulture droid is DFS 081, which can turn a bunch of crits into hits, which is relevant because when a friendly ship, that can also be your Hyena bombers and stuff right now, which is good.
Also at Initiative 3 as well, it's one of the higher ones.
Yeah, for sure. Every Vulture droid is either Initiative 1 or 3. Same with the Hyena bombers, barring 1. Also, one of note, which I always like to talk about, is DFS 311, which can pass around calculate tokens, which, given the fact that all of these platforms have network calculations, is super important. It also unlocks the energy shell charges, which is a piece of ordnance that is Separatist only, which is pretty average, but it's cheap, and it basically upgrades the primary attack of the platform. One more thing we should quickly mention, Hyenas were just released, and this is another platform which I've made the comment in the past, basically functions like a Vulture droid when it's not firing ordnance. It has network calculation. It basically works with all of those upgrades. It is a significant jump up in cost with a buy-in of 26 points, ranging up to 42 points.
So 7 points for the Initiative 1s to change.
That's it.
But with that, you also are getting a bit more hull.
2 more hull, reload, and a bunch of really cool stuff. The basic Techno Union bomber, for example, can take bombs and torpedoes and missiles. So a lot of flavor there, especially with new things like plasma torpedoes. Some of these can take passive sensors as well. So it's an upgrade on the Vulture droid for sure. But remember, at the end of the day, when it's not doing any of that stuff, it functions like another Vulture droid on your list. If you would like to submit a list for us to have a look at in one of these Hangar Bay episodes, simply copy all of the text including all pilots and upgrades into a comment down below in one of our YouTube videos. Please also be sure to include a link to that squad within your favourite squad builder. Now if you're unsure how to do this, simply head over to Yet Another Squad Builder 2.0. They have a fantastic squad builder built into this website. You have drop down menus that can help you find all the upgrades and everything that's legal for the ships that you want to build with, as well as a simple text viewer that you can use to copy out all the text. And if you're part of the Patreon Discord, put all of this into the relevant list submission channel on that. Every week here, we are sure to include one patron list, so if you're part of the Patreon Discord, it means you have a much higher chance of being featured in one of these videos. So with all of that in mind, let's take a look at some of these lists that have been submitted. First, we have one by one of our new patrons, Academy Pilot. Count Dooku has Heightened Perception, sorry, hate's now way too expensive, Perceptive Co-Pilot, General Grievous, DRK-1 Probe Droids, Scimitar, and Kraken.
And the Separatist drones have energy shell charges and grappling struts.
And the Trade Federation drones only have energy shell charges.
Yeah, now...
That's an interesting way of balancing out, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, Count Dooku obviously can't take hate. It's 9 points.
Not with this point structure, no.
Yeah.
We've only got 2 points left on this list, so to be honest, I wouldn't bother anyway.
No.
It's very expensive. In fact, let's just bring it up here so I can see. Yeah, it's 9 points. It's another 6 points on this. It's not terrible on Dooku, but not with this list.
Yeah.
It really has to balance out better. When you want to just cram a bunch of Vulture Droids in to fill out a list, you really don't leave yourself a lot of points to spare. So
No.
I can appreciate that. We can actually make all of these Vultures the same if we wanted to. Just a quick note as well. We could make all of them Trade Federation drones and put grappling struts onto all of them. And yeah, we'd be saving 2 points by doing that. Let's have a quick chat about that, because Count Dooku is Initiative 3, so he is Initiative match with the Separatist drones. Is it better to Initiative match with Dooku or just have all your drones at Initiative 1? I like the idea of just matching all the drones. That's just my gut feeling.
Yeah, but if you're able to then use these at Initiative 3 to help block Dooku or something like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, it could have its advantages. I mean, look, ultimately, there's a very real possibility that you're just going to come up against someone who has every ship greater than Initiative 3, and it doesn't matter anyway. From that point of view, it's not really worth investing in the Separatist drones. I guess it really is a meta call from that point of view.
Yeah.
I like having all the Vultures fly at once. That's just where I'm at. And that way Count Dooku can function more as a free agent. I feel like if the Separatist drones are initiative match with Dooku, you really do have to try and fly them in some kind of formation.
Yeah, and I suppose also then if you've got the Scimitar on Dooku and you're cloaking it, then makes it a little bit harder to keep up with him as well.
Yeah, well, just staying in formation, even just that alone. Just a quick note on network calculation. You can spend the calculate off Dooku as well. So there is a little bit more upside to trying to fly alongside Count Dooku. Yeah, I mean, my brain just wants to streamline it, make them all initiative ones.
Yeah.
Actually, let's just have a quick chat about Dooku, because yes, with Kraken, he can take calculates. We also have Perceptive Co-Pilot, which is a bit different. What do you make of that?
Why are you using Perceptive Co-Pilot?
Well, it's not bad. For an 8-point thing, you're getting a couple of focus, and that can matter.
Yeah.
If you're not decloaking, you can turtle up a lot, I suppose. The problem with Perceptive Co-Pilot is to really justify that 8 points, you basically don't use it fairly. That's pretty much how it always goes. So you're looking at some kind of ultra-efficient action economy, way to spend green tokens. With Dooku, you do have the option of getting 2 of those focus tokens after you attack by spending a force token. You also have heightened perception, so you can play around with the timing, meaning he's more likely to defend.
Yeah, but you're then spending 2 force tokens to get 2 focus. I suppose actually that's not too bad. Actually,
it's interesting, but you can also cloak, you can also barrel roll, you can also jam.
Yeah, target lock.
I mean, the action economy is good, and obviously this is going to be your second action in the turn. it's good. It's an upgrade on what he can already do. I'm just not convinced it's worth that 8 points.
Yeah.
And look, you have to appreciate the fact also that if you take off that 8 points, you can do a lot more. You can actually make all of those Vulture Droids Initiative 3. You could make some of them like precise hunters.
Well, yeah, I keep looking back at the fact that you've still got Kraken on this ship.
Yes,
and you can
that's a good
still
point too.
keep 2 calculate tokens by using Kraken on this ship.
That's right. Up to 3 friendly ships does not remove 1 calculate token each. Which is just great as well. Also, we got the DRK1 probe droids. I like DRK1 probe droids. I think it's a fun upgrade. It did come down in points cost in the last change.
With the DRK1, you can actually either do the locks or the jams with Count Dooku.
Yeah, that's true. Dooku's got a white jam. That's good. There is no ordnance in this list, and I feel like that's probably the best, sort of highest, best case scenario in terms of using that. So it's okay. Again, it's 5 points, and we could probably put on named parts on those vultures, for example. It really comes down to how much value you get out of that. I think Perceptive Co-Pilot, yes, I would absolutely spend the points elsewhere. DRK1 Probe Droid, it's a bit more of a call on what you like to fly. That's my thoughts on that anyway.
Yeah. Well, personally, I like using it.
Yeah, so for sure.
I'd say use it.
Yeah, exactly. Different flavours for different people. Also, in terms of those initiatives, yeah, it's a big medical in terms of what you're flying against. If your LGS happens to have 2 top-tier players who run only Initiative 2s, then you abuse them with those Initiative 3s, for example. It's pretty fringe, though, so just be aware of that.
Or if you're versing a whole bunch of Jedi Knights.
That's true. That's true, yes. See, these are all things to consider. Anyway, let's move over to a list from our YouTube comments. This one by PJ Anderson.
Yes.
Got some hyenas this time.
On this list, we have a Bactoid prototype, a DBS-32C, a bombardment drone, and 2 Federation drones.
Indeed. So these are all unique builds apart from those drones. Bactoid prototype has advanced sensors, proton rockets, and cluster missiles.
DBS-32C has passive sensors and K2B4.
The bombardment drone has trajectory simulator, proton bombs, and the DRK-1 probe droids.
And the Trade Federation drones have energy shell charges.
So in this list, the Trade Federation drones are filler, but it's absolutely a conversation to have because that's an important role the Trade Federation drones have.
Yep,
and
blockers.
That's it, but they're carrying ordnance as well, and they can also provide the hyenas or be provided from the hyenas those calculate tokens. So it's a filler that really punches above its weight for 24 points each.
Yeah, now, obviously, the energy shell charges, they are a white reload action.
Yes, indeed.
So, always got to keep that in mind.
Yes. Yes, I see what you mean. So you can always recharge them. I've flown this against you. In fact, we've done a video on it where I found that reload is not as much upside as I would have liked. Yeah. You've really got to learn to disengage and make the best use out of that unless you just want to keep attacking them with the 2 red dice primary.
Well, the other thing you can do if you don't want to be always reloading is you can also use munition fail-safes for 1 point.
Yes, you can as well. That's a very good point. There is no spare points on this list.
And I don't think there's any real points that you can...
Oh, I don't hate cutting advanced sensors. It is 10 points. It doesn't really help you out with the built-in ability of Bactoid prototype. I mean, honestly, if we're going to put that 10 points elsewhere, yeah, munitions fail-safe is the obvious one. Grappling struts if you want to. In fact, grappling struts on all of these platforms. Again, the hyenas have landing struts, which is exactly the same and cost 1 point as well. So there's definitely room to move those points around if you want. I mean, if you really love advanced sensors, then I don't blame you. It's a pretty awesome card.
Yeah.
Also, why do we have passive sensors on DBS-32C and advanced sensors on the Bactoid? I understand because Bactoid can use the target lock from another platform.
Yeah.
That's very handy. It's just, I feel like if we put passive sensors on the Bactoid prototype, it's making it more versatile and just giving it more ways to abuse its ability.
Yeah, having the choice of either a calculate or a
target lock is really good.
Yeah.
Also, that means if it wants to take the calculate, another ship can target lock the ship that you want to shoot, and then you can forego. Yeah, see, there is Still value to be had there. I understand putting passive sensors on something else means it can help out the backdoor prototype in a different way. I just feel like putting passive sensors on a platform that's not firing missiles or torpedoes is not incorrect. Yeah, I mean, DBS 32C, starting engagement phase, you may spend one calculate token, form a coordinate action. You cannot coordinate ships that don't have network calculations, which on this squad means you can coordinate any ship you like.
Yeah, no, I think that's why you would put passive sensors on.
Okay, I understand what's going on here. The problem is passive sensors before you engage. The DBS 32C ability is at the start of the engagement phase, so the timing does not work out there. You can't get that calculate and then spend it to do a coordinate because you get the calculate after you get the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's still good, but it means you must take a calculate action.
In which case, wouldn't you rather switch the advanced sensors and passive sensors around on those two?
I absolutely would, for sure.
Yeah.
Advanced sensors is great fun. Also, it has the red jam. So jam and advanced sensors is a nice combo because it means you have to be in a range 1 bubble, not just after you do maneuver, before or after. So you've got more scope to make that jam work.
Yeah.
Also, K2B4, while a friendly ship at range 0 to 3, which includes this ship, defends, it may spend a calculate token. If it does, it adds an evade result to its roll and gains a strain token. There's a lot more reasons to take calculates. And the problem with passive sensors, again, is it's before you engage. So you're better off just taking calculate during the activation phase because you might get shot before you engage during the engagement phase.
Yeah. Passive
sensors just isn't quite lining up on this platform. That's why. Again, look, I made a whole video on it. It's about ordnance carriers. That's entirely the design. It's the new Deadeye. It's not really enabling anything special on this platform.
The trajectory simulator, it can't be used on the DRK-1 probe droid, but it can be used on the proton bombs?
That's right, because DRK-1 probe droid is end phase, and trajectory simulator only works during the system phase. So any card that allows you to drop bombs or devices or whatever outside system phase does no longer work with this. This was a huge problem in first edition, and they addressed this. Bit of a shame because I don't think there's any reason why launching DRK-1 probe droids would be that problematic or degenerate.
Yeah, well, it's already getting launched 3 forward to begin with, so what's an extra 2?
Not really that much.
Yeah.
It is working with the proton bombs, though, which is probably the main reason it's been taken here.
Now, also the DRK-1 probe droid is also going to be working well with DBS 32C.
Yeah, for sure, for that jam.
Yeah.
There's a lot of agency over that jam if you have advanced sensors there as well. Also, everything can target lock at whatever range it needs, which is only relevant actually for the backdoor prototype now that we have a look at it.
Because the energy shells are calculated, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just a little bit of awkward interactions with this list. I love just 3 hyenas and 2 vultures. That's such a cool archetype. Maybe my advice here is trying to stick to similar platforms. For example, with backdoor prototypes, you could just take another version of itself. That's something you can totally do. You can take that instead of like the bombardment drone.
Yeah, but you then it's still
but you can cut points because you're taking passive sensitive instead of. There's a lot to play around with here. Look, PJ, if you've had a go at this, please let us know how it has gone. Obviously, there's lots of new pilot abilities and ships and abilities working together that we don't really have good tournament data on just yet. So, we'd love to hear how this goes. The Hyena looks awesome, and look forward to talking about it in its own video real soon. Yeah. Now we have a couple of lists with General Grievous and a bunch of Vulture.
Now this is a list by Shauna Domestic from our YouTube channel.
Yep.
And it is General Grievous with Outmaneuver, Imperium Plating, and Solar Swan.
And we have 7 Trade Federation drones with grappling struts. So no energy shells. This is like the bare minimum you can invest. Don't bother with a beta ring like that. You can save 7 points if you really want to. I don't think Grievous at Initiative 4 really cares all that much.
No, but I think using all these drones, you can then throw them onto rocks and just be like, no, I'm just going to be using these as...
Yes, we haven't actually seen grappling struts take a big hold in the meta just yet.
No.
And look, this is the kind of list that, demands that you have cheaper ships. So it's the kind of list where grappling struts is likely to work. Also because General Grievous cares about positioning so much. Abusing your opponent's ability to try and evade your attacks, using grappling struts a lot. Yeah, that feels like a good way to sort of get around the fact that your opponents might be trying to dodge all your ships. You suddenly latch onto rocks and just keep firing at them as they try and get away. That's so annoying.
Yeah.
I really love the design of grappling struts. I was actually surprised that they cost any points when it was first revealed. I understand from a game point of view, it's about trying to make sure it's balanced. I just kind of assume that all Vulture Droids do this, so why would they make it cost any points?
Oh, they didn't get the upgrade at the time, maybe.
That's true. That's true. Or maybe it's more of a point they make them a bit lighter by just getting a crowbar and ripping out the struts or whatever. They've locked the S-foils into attack position or whatever.
Just like, we need to save points somewhere. These struts, they've got to go.
That's it. Those Viceroy are very brutal. Also, Grievous with a whole heap of stuff on him. I mean, I don't have a problem with any of this. It's a lot. That's just what I'll say there. Grievous is only 44 points. This puts him all the way up to 60 points.
Yeah, but I like all of it. I actually run a Grievous very similar. I even put Kraken on it.
Yeah, you could do that.
So
you could do that.
Yeah, so mine's sitting at about 70, so
yeah,
I don't mind.
By the way, you could do that in this list if you wanted to take off a couple of these upgrades and put on Kraken. It's just about whether you want that value on the Vulture Droids, whether you want them to be able to retain their calculate tokens. And without energy shells, my gut says we shouldn't do that.
No, I agree. With the way that this list is, you don't really need the Kraken, and I think that's a good way to go about it.
I actually haven't had much of a chance to fly Grievous myself. I need to have a play around with this.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem terrible for 60 points, considering, yes, we are upgrading the raw stats of the ship, getting up to 7 health. So yeah, it's not terrible. Yeah, looks like a lot of fun. And we have a bit of a variation on this list as well, submitted on our Patreon Discord by Frenzy. We have cut away one of these Trade Federation drones and added on energy shells. Also, a couple of upgrades on Grievous, so he's now only 50 points.
Yeah, so General Grievous only has the Soulless 1 title.
And the 6 Federation drones has energy shells as well as those grappling struts again. Now.
This one I feel like you'd do a bit better with having Kraken on it.
Yes, absolutely, for sure. We can't really fit him in though. We have to cut one of the energy shells and Soulless 1, and then Grievous is feeling pretty bad.
Yeah. I'd rather just cut a Trade Federation drone entirely.
Yeah.
And that way you can put on Kraken. You could also put on
all the stuff. Yeah. Only 5 drones though. It's not terrible. I have myself done Belbala plus 6 drones with energy shells, and it's a lot of fun. I don't know how competitive it is, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I like Grievous a lot. I love that people are really trying to make him work. Yeah. Also, energy shells alongside grappling struts. You're having both, and I don't know if you're going to consistently get value out of both of these upgrades. Yes, you can fire them energy shells while you're on a rock. I know you're about to say that. I can see that in your eyes. Yeah, for sure. The problem is, I don't know, you are taxing the actions by having to stay on the rock. I don't know.
You're sort of...
The added upside's there.
You are telegraphing your moves a little bit by saying, look, I am going to be on this rock for quite some time.
Also, you could be psyching your opponent out by making them think you're going to do that. I mean, there are some next level plays you can do when you build a list that your opponent thinks going to do something.
That's true.
But yeah, ultimately, if you're doing that, you're not getting value out of your upgrades, so what are you doing at that point?
Yeah.
It's cool. What do you prefer? Another Vulture and a fatter Grievous, or energy shells? Yeah, I think there are absolutely pros and cons for each. With General Grievous, if you want to make the list about General Grievous, and using Trade Federation droids with grappling struts makes them really good blockers as well.
Yeah.
If you want to use the energy shells, my gut says go for something like a Feather Outlaw pilot with like Kraken on it or something like that.
Yeah, that's another good way to go about it. In fact, for 50 points, you can literally put it on as is.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yep, for sure. A lot of really cool options there. And it's about things that sort of complement the Vulture Droids. If they want to do their own thing and be blockers, you can have like a fat Grievous or a Sith Infiltrator like that. But if you want something to support them, you can do something lighter with Kraken and all those kinds of things. And I think both of those archetypes are very relevant.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a really, really cool ship.
I mean, for the points you put in, sure, they do pop, but
They do.
they just work.
And FFG, I think, are still trying to find the sweet spot. It's very clear based on the feedback that I've gotten on my videos. Yes, 20 points still led to it feeling pretty bad. And FFG, just 1 point. But remember, 1 point is still 5% of the overall cost.
Yeah.
When you get down to 20 points, every point is super significant. And who knows, maybe another point, the next point's changed. Maybe 19 is correct. That's,
one more point.
It's
That'd
scary.
be scary.
It's very scary. But like energy shells can compensate for it like it did in this points change. Lots of options. Anyway, just a quick reminder, yes, we'll talk about Rebels in the next video, so get those submitted below. If you want to subscribe to the channel, we'll have an update on the community tab talking about exactly what kind of archetype we'll be talking about next week. In the meantime, do not forget to like and subscribe, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Reddit, and please also consider supporting the Patreon, which is sort of the biggest thing right now in terms of supporting this channel. Links for that in the description down below.
It is literally keeping that light on.
That's right, that one light that we have to shine on us when the camera's on. And yes, of course, as always, thank you so much to all of our existing patrons. We'll catch you all in the next video.
Bye.